Hi, welcome to another tale from the Magic Story Cauldron. This one, I don't know where it comes from. It is a traditional tale. I think perhaps it comes from a number of different cultures, but the version that I have here is called How the Phoenix Got Her Fine Plumage. A very long time ago, before men had learned how to hunt and set traps, all the birds lived together peacefully in a great forest. Theirs was a happy and carefree existence. The forest supplied all their needs. There was a plentiful supply of nuts, fruit seeds, fruits, berries for the birds to feed on, and they had no enemies. Because food was to be found everywhere in seemingly endless supply, the birds came to be rather wasteful. One would pick at a pear here, another would take a bite out of a blueberry there, dig a few seeds out of a guava and discard the rest of the fruit. They all shared the same carefree spirit, except for one, the phoenix. Now the phoenix was a seer. She could see what was in the future. She could see what was coming. The other birds thought her just worrisome and fearful, but she knew something. She was always telling the other birds to be careful, to prepare for a time that food might not be so plentiful. The other birds ignored her. Some even started calling her nasty names. Eventually, nobody wanted to have anything to do with the phoenix. They thought there was something not quite right about her, always scolding them and giving out advice that they considered useless advice. They carried on with their usual wasteful habits. Whereas most of the birds had colourful plumage, bright feathers, lovely colours, Phoenix was quite ordinary to look at. Some might say a little ugly even. Her head was a little bit too big compared with her body. Her feathers were a dull brownish grey. She worried about the future. What if something bad were to happen tomorrow? One day the fruit might stop growing on the trees, or the trees might drop their leaves, or just fall over even. She determined to prepare for the worst and started collecting all the fruits and berries and seeds the other birds threw away. She stowed them away in places like hollow trees, buried them in the ground or underneath the roots. At first, one or two of the other birds were a bit curious, but then they got bored watching her, and they laughed whenever they spotted Phoenix scavenging around, and they mocked her. One day, a great storm hit the forest, and what Phoenix had been worrying about all these years came to pass. Leaves and whole branches were blown off the trees and carried far away by the powerful wind. Some trees were blown over altogether, and with the protection of the dense foliage now gone, the heat of the sun penetrated the forest and dried everything up. Suddenly, the birds found they had to fight each other for the odd berry or stray nut. They pecked at the hard, dried tree trunks, hoping to extract some nourishing sap. Now, Phoenix started sharing out all the scraps of food she had stored up all over the forest. Now, every single bird, large and small, wanted to be her friend. Thanks to Phoenix, all the birds had something to eat every day. Eventually, the gods sent some clouds over the land, which cooled things down a bit, and some rain fell. Green sprouts started to appear again, just as the food stores Phoenix had built up started to run out. Slowly, the forest returned to its old self, and the birds recovered. But they never forgot their new friend, Phoenix. To show their gratitude, every bird in the whole forest selected its most beautiful and colourful feather and gave it as a gift to the phoenix. When they were finished, Phoenix had been transformed into the most fantastic and multicolourful creature in the forest. At least, That's what we are told. I don't know anyone who's ever actually seen the phoenix, but a friendly bird from the forest who told this story also told that phoenix stays hidden deep inside the forest where no human being can ever penetrate. Perhaps that's just as well, because if any human ever laid eyes on her, the sheer brilliant beauty of her would surely blind that person's eyes. The story of how the phoenix got her fine, fine plumage. And I'll see you for another tale from the Magic Story Cauldron very soon. Bye for now.